Hi, my name is Meredith Otto, and for this week's discussion, I'm going to be talking about the book that I had picked for our Family Impact Project. The book that I chose is a memoir by Carrie Cariello called What Color is Monday? And this is the title, and this is the cover of the book. Carrie Cariello is a author who writes for several other autism-based services such as um, the Autism News, the Huffington Post, and several other local parenting magazines. She has written another book after this book, What Color is Monday, also again about her son Jack, which I'll be discussing later on. Jack is her child, her second born, that was diagnosed with PDD, NOS, which is pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. The book is 215 pages long, and the story takes place in originally Buffalo, New York, where she met her husband Joe, but they ended up moving to southern New Hampshire, and that's where they started their family. Joe, her husband, is a dentist, and Carrie was working for in the marketing department of a construction company, and they had their 5 children: Joe, Jack, Charlie, Rose, and Henry. As I said earlier, Jack is the child that has been diagnosed with autism, and I just wanted to read a little excerpt from the story because what made me pick the book was the title, and I was wondering how that ties into the story, and it's actually a cute little excerpt that I want to read. So here we go. One day last fall he asked me, "What color do you see for Monday?" as I heaved a chicken into the oven. "What?" I said distractedly, turning from the oven to slice some potatoes at the counter. It was late afternoon, and I was prepping dinner and managing the demands of homework and tired toddlers. "Do you see days as colors?" "Yes, all days are colors." "All days are colors?" In one seemingly ordinary moment, Jack once again granted me the privilege to take a tiny peek inside his fascinating mind. Without preamble, he rattled off which color he associates with each day. Then, just as suddenly as the conversation began, he snapped his mind closed and moved on to something else entirely. I tried to probe further. Why was Tuesday green? I wanted to know. Why was the entire day green? Or was it just the morning? "I told you no more," he responded in a clipped tone. So the premise of the book is Carrie talking about her life instances with Jack, from the people that they meet to the places that they go, to her relationship with her husband and her relationship with her own children. And one of my favorite parts about this book is that Carrie published her writings, meaning so Carrie would write letters to her children on their birthdays. And in each letter to each one of her children, she included in a book. And each letter talked a little bit about their relationship with Jack at that moment in time. And it was often heartfelt and sad at the same time, and but also real. And it was just it's just a great aspect of the book that helps it tie all together. Um, so life with her husband Joe. Carrie talks about how stressful it could be sometimes, but um, they seem to have a great relationship where it's based on communication, and they're able to overcome a lot of obstacles and hurdles with Jack and the whole rest of their family, just by being there for one another. And Carrie finds peace and takes time for herself by running and doing yoga. There's also an excerpt from the book that she always references about how the people that she meets impact her life, and help her to remember that Jack is a human being with feelings, and that although it's complicated and she has a hard time navigating his emotions and his wants and needs, and how communication can be rough for them, that Jack is who he is and that she needs to accept him for that, and she does, along with the rest of her children. So I just wanted to read that little part as well. So at that point in time, they were having construction done on their house, and they were meeting a lot of different people who were coming in and out of their house, and it was distracting for Jack, and it was often hard. And Jack also has fixations on death. He liked to ask questions about heaven a lot, and he also has fixations on radios and license plates. So I just wanted to tie in with that about a little excerpt from them meeting this man named Texas Mike, who was a painter at their house, who helped Carrie to realize that Jack is Jack and he's fine. And then there was Texas Mike, the painter who worked on our front porch last fall. We bought a fixer-upper, okay? Weighing probably no more than 150 pounds and with dreadlocks down to his bony hips, Texas Mike was an authentic cowboy who spoke mostly in monosyllables. On the first day, he showed up at our house with a battered radio in hand, and immediately Jack wanted to know every last detail, not about that radio, but about every radio Texas Mike had ever owned, along with the information about his music selection, why he drove a Subaru Legacy, and his mother. How old was she? Jack wanted to know, and had she died yet? Every time I looked outside, Jack was trailing close enough behind Texas Mike to pull on a dreadlock, all while firing questions at him like a human machine gun. I never really heard Mike respond with more than one-word sentences, and I figured his patience was wearing thin. I tried to explain that Jack had autism, and that's why he fixates on unusual subjects like radios and birthdays. Until my own dying breath, I'll never forget the way Texas Mike slowly gazed down at Jack and then slowly back at me, and in a drawn-out Texas drawl, softly voiced the 4 most beautiful words I've ever heard. Looks all right to me. Why, yes, Texas Mike, he looks all right to me too. Thank you for reminding me that he really is all right. So throughout the novel, Carrie talks about how often she feels bad for Jack, and like I said, how it's hard to communicate with him, and that she always wonders what's going to happen in the future. She makes references to that all the time, and that's why she writes letters to all of her children about that moment in time, because she always questions about the future, and she wants to remember how life is at that moment. But it makes you really appreciate children for the people that they are, especially children on the spectrum, and that they are all right, just like how Carrie felt when Texas Mike came over to fix and paint their front porch. I never thought that I would pick up a book like this and would willingly want to read it. I'm a murder mystery kind of person. But there were times in this book where I laughed, and there were times that in this book that I cried. I would highly recommend it. She's hilarious. Their trips and the things that they do and the things that she talks about, the places that they go with Jack, her other kids, are hilarious and, again, heartfelt and real. So if you want to read a book that makes you think about your life and your life around the kids that you work with and what their families are dealing through, or what they're going through on a daily basis, I highly recommend What Color is Monday by Carrie Curiello. Thank you.